Top 10 interesting bowling facts you probably didn't know. How much do you love bowling? Well, don't be shocked to find out that there are probably a million things you don't know about this interesting game. Of course, we won't talk about it all, but here's a look at the top 10 interesting bowling facts that will get you excited. Number 10. It can't be traced to Egypt. Although there's a lot of difference between bowling today and during the early Egyptian era, you can trace the origin of this exciting game to this ancient time. Ancient Egyptians played bowling using 10 stones known as bowling balls. In ancient Egypt, bowling was a mixture of other games such as billiards, lawn bowling, and bowling. According to research conducted by some Italian archaeologists, they found that the origin of bowling as a form of sport can be traced back to Narmathios in the Fayum region, 90 kilometers from modern-day Cairo. One of the significant differences between bowling in ancient Egypt and modern-day bowling is the absence of bowling alleys and our 10 pins rule in the modern game. Also, when we consider the technological aspects, we can all agree that since ancient Egyptians started the game around 5200, it's fair to understand that the game's rules, including the playing arena of the modern game, will be way different from the classics. Number 9. Perfect bowling. You must be wondering, what exactly is perfect bowling? Based on the PBA rules, a player can only achieve perfect bowling when the bowler scores the highest point possible, which in this case is 300. The only way to achieve this record is for the bowler to bowl 12 strikes in a row in a single game. The bowler has to hit a strike in the first 9 frames, then close the rounds by hitting 3 more in the final 10th frame. The illustration in this video may look a bit simple, but you need a lot of practice to achieve perfect bowling. However, it's definitely possible. So keep learning and keep bowling because you never can tell when you are going to hit the mark. Number 8. The 60 feet dimension rule. While ancient Egyptians may hold the credit for inventing bowling as a sport, they don't get the credit for the game's rules. According to research by Dr. Malcolm Rogers, Polynesians also participated in the sport at the early stages. In contrast to the ancient Egyptians, who were known for using stone balls, the seaside Polynesians were known to have used an elliptical ball and round flat discs for their version of a bowling ball. While bowling rules have changed over time, one rule that has remained with the game is the 60 feet dimension for bowling length. The Polynesians called their version of the 60 feet Eula Mica, which represents the distance elliptical balls were to be bowled. The Eula Mica rules remain, and it shares the same pattern with the 10-pin bowling we use today. Number 7. Most celebrated players by PBA records. Over the years, a few individuals have stood out for being outstanding in bowling. While Jason Belmonte remains the player with the most PBA honors, standing at 15 major titles, Walter Ray Williams Jr., a 6-time World Horse Show winner, has the most record for the all-time standard PBA records. Walter Ray Williams Jr.'s accolades include PBA 50, PBA 50 Regional PBA Tour, and PBA Regional Tour, and he also holds the record for the first player to cross the 100 mark for titles won in the PBA competitions. Number 6. 2 other types of bowling. While most people are quite familiar with 10-pin bowling, not many people know that there are different types of bowling. Just as beach soccer shares close similarities and rules with regular soccer played on the grass pitch, the other variants of bowling also have points of convergence with the traditional 10-pin bowling sport. The first one is the 5-pin bowling system, which started as far back as the 20th century. The 5-pin bowling sport has a distinctive federation and governing body. 5-pin bowling enjoys a cult-like fellowship in countries like Canada. The second variant is duck-pin bowling. Don't let the name confuse you because the duck ascribed to the sport does not imply that animals are involved. The similarity between duck-pin bowling and 10-pin is the area of arrangement style, but when it comes to size and weight, duck-pin bowling is smaller. Number 5. What are bowling balls made from? In the game's early stages, bowling balls and its pin were made using lignum vitae, a hardwood. Balls made from lignum qualified to be used in different lanes. The balls don't have a uniform size, so most times, the capacity of the bowler is the main determinant of the size of the ball. However, things changed in 1905 as Brunswick Corporation developed a new ball variant where wood was substituted for heavy rubber material for making bowling balls. These became the standards until 1980, when urethane materials became the standard, until another major change in 1990 when the material changed to polyester and plastic. Bowling balls made from polyester and plastic became known as the spare ball, which is usually deployed when the bowler fails to hit the pin in the first shot. Number 4. Left-handed success. There are no rules regarding the hand pattern for playing with bowling balls. However, when it boils down to the statistical area, especially when comparing the success rate of left-handed bowlers to their right-handed counterparts, the left-hand bowlers have the upper hand. It's quite interesting that lefties have had more success with this sport. Research so far suggests that this is due to the consistent oil pattern on the left-hand side. Number 3. Bowling pin weight. When it comes to bowling, most people think the bowling ball is the most crucial asset in the sport. Well, they are right, but not entirely. The bowling pin weight is just as important. The Federation standard for bowling pins is 3 pounds and 6 ounces, or an equivalent of 1.5 kilograms. But there are instances where the bowling pin weight may be higher than 3 pounds and 6 ounces. When such a situation happens, the Federation rules state that the maximum mass weight for a bowling ball pin must not exceed 1.6 kilograms, or its equivalent of 3 pounds and 10 ounces. Number 2. Bowling etiquette. Just like every other kind of sport in the world, bowling as a game and sport has its own rules. In reality, many rules guide the sport, but some are more of courtesy than rules. One of such etiquette is keeping pace and bowling courtesy. As a general rule, it is honorable to respect your fellow competitor, and the best way to do this is to wait for players to your right to make their shot before you take yours. Number 1. First bowling ring in the White House. Historically, the National Bowling Association was established in New York City in 1875 to standardize the rules of ten-pin bowling across the area. Still, it wasn't until 1947 that the first bowling ring was built on the West Wing of the U.S. White House to celebrate the birthday of former U.S. President Harry S. Truman. The alley was officially declared open on the 25th of April, 1947. Although the former president was more disposed to playing poker for fun, his interest in the sport influenced the establishment of the White House Bowling League in 1950. Did you enjoy this video? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing and entertaining information that will blow your mind.